Charlotte, the Queen City. For decades, the home of NASCAR and lots more, like the Panthers. And this beautiful speedway just to the northeast of the city in Concord since 1960. It's been quite a sight of excitement. Jimmy Johnson, multiple winner of the All-Star race with Kyle Busch, trying to bag his first one. Casey Kane, a lot of drivers hopeful of success tonight in All-Star qualifying. There are a lot of things that only happen once a year, and this is one of them. Monster Energy All-Star qualifying at Charlotte Motor Speedway. And the reason is no speed limits, no pit road speed. Darrell, something I know you're very familiar with from the early years of your career, but Jeff, did you ever race in NASCAR with no speed limit?
No, I didn't, but I did qualify in this All-Star race with it. I'm really glad I never raced with it. I can't imagine doing that every single weekend. It is intense. It's so easy to make mistakes. But, boy, when they do it right, and we get to see them try to do it right twice tonight, it is spectacular.
What I love is, you know, when you go out there, you go out there to run a qualifying lap, and the pucker factor is pretty high on the qualifying lap. Then you're going to come on pit road. You're going to come off turn 4 at 140 miles an hour down pit road and try to get that thing stopped in the pit box. That ups the level just a little bit.
No speed limit entering or exiting, and it'll be time for the pit crews tonight to shine. Now, traditionally, we've done this in one round, but now 2 rounds. It is also a crew chief's time to shine, and holy smokes, it's 1992. That was one hot night, and there was the winning crew chief from the first nighttime running of the Winston. Welcome back to Charlotte Motor Speedway, Monster Energy All-Star qualifying on what has been a beautiful day with a near cloudless skies. A few clouds rolling in here. Temperature still 88 degrees, and the track temp has eased to 122 without full sun. Well, let's hear from some of the drivers that are about to go full tilt down pit road. Jamie Little.
Well, to my count, 10 cars have cleared tech and 6 more still trying to go through. The 11 is one of them, of course, because he's going to a backup car. Unfortunate in practice, Denny. So what's on your mind as you approach this wide open qualifying session?
Just could not be more excited to go out there first lap in a backup car with no pit road practice and have some fun. I don't know, you know, I'm wondering where the third car is. I know our shop is close, so but we'll try to commit to it and see what happens. But you know, last time we qualified, we had some good luck here. So just kind of go off maybe some notes. I don't know where my brakes are adjusted at, so I don't know. This is going to be quite a learning experience.
A lot of question marks. We'll keep our eye on the 11, Matt.
And Jamie, this is a great night for the crews to shine. And one of the pit crew coaches, one of 3 at Stewart-Haas Racing, is Walt Smith. You're a former guy that went over the wall, Jackman and a Gasman. In fact, you worked for DW in '87 and '98, but for the teams. What's the biggest challenge with the rules here tonight?
The biggest challenge is keeping these guys focused on, number one, they have to let a race car come to a complete stop before they do their deal. You're going to run, most of the teams you'll see, some teams will do a different strategy. We're running our jackmen from the back of the car, so they're chasing a car, something they have never done before. They're normally the first men over the wall. So keeping these guys focused on doing a smooth stop, and it doesn't have to be the fastest in the world, you're going to find that the most consistent stop is going to win this.
All about timing, whether it's the driver or the crews, Mike.
Sure, Matt. Make no mistakes. Driver or pit crew. Yeah, it's about to get fast on the track and on pit road as we're ready to qualify. Getting ready for 2 rounds of qualifying for the Monster Energy All-Star race. It's a 3-lap procedure with a 4-tire pit stop. The total time completing the 3 laps determines starting position. Pitting outside the box, your time is disallowed. Too many men over the wall too soon, throwing equipment, uncontrolled tire, etc. 5 seconds each penalty, and 5 seconds for each loose lug nut that's not in contact with the wheel. If you pit outside your box, you're disqualified. From Bakersfield, California, Kevin Harvick for Rodney Childers and Stewart-Haas Racing in the Busch Bucks Ford.
Look how violent it is through the loads, through the corners. These cars are stiff, set up, ready to go fast.
You can hear those skirts dragging the ground too.
Harvick has started third in this race 4 times and started on the pole when qualifying rained out last year.
Saw him get pretty wide there in the middle. 1 and 2 took him up out of the groove off of 2.
Had to get up out of the gas. That just makes it hurts your momentum a bunch.
Now, and we talked about being consistent with the pit crews. Same thing with the drivers on track. It's not about going fast and having the fastest lap. Yeah, you want to be quick, but you really just want to be consistent.
They're telling him track bar, brake lever. He's got a lot to do in this lap coming to the pits.
He was the All-Star winner in 2007, led 20 laps.
Well, all I can say is, hey, watch this, because this is exciting right here. This is a thrill for a driver.
Wow.
All right.
Gassed it.
5.
From 144 miles an hour
3, 2,
to a stop.
I don't know if he's going to make it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, he did. Nice job.
Beautiful.
Better than last year. He didn't make it last year. He slid right through.
Pit stop clock on the lower right.
Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Go hard.
A lot of wheel spin and slide taken off.
Yeah, he killed it. The engine was dead when the car stopped there. He did that coming in, and then a lot of wheel spin taken off.
And unlike in a race, they can run through coming in as many pit stalls as they want, as well as leave it. So some drivers will choose to go straight on that concrete, then pull up. Others will get onto the pavement on pit road as soon as they can, just like Kevin Harvick did.
144 miles an hour into pit road.
That'll be the measuring stick now for every other driver. I thought Kevin was a little conservative getting off the track on the pit road, but he was pretty aggressive getting back to the throttle once he was there.
Yeah, I think what's going to hurt him is lap. He got a little loose down in 1 and 2, and he did a lot of wheel spin on the exit of the pit box there.
Checkered flag for Harvick. 1 minute 52.256 seconds.
I would say that Rodney and those guys, they might not be real pleased with that run. I think that was just a mediocre run.
Jamie?
Can you imagine being a rookie for this event? Chris Buescher is. He's been watching our monitor and seeing how it's done. You practiced earlier, though. Are you confident right now in your ability of no pit road speed limit?
No, not at all. I made several mistakes. I think we made probably 7 runs at it, and I got to the pit stall about half the time. So hopefully we can make it on this one. You know, just trying to get our marks. I think it being a little cooler out should help with the grip a little bit. We got a plan. Now we just have to put it into action and see how it works out.
Thanks, Jamie. Brad Keselowski in the Miller Lite Ford for Team Penske and crew chief Paul Wolf. Matt?
Mike, old school qualifying with no pit road speed. Old school behind the wall. Team Penske for the 2 and the 22. They're not going to have the big pit cart because remember, they could be doing stops twice tonight. So they've got small little carts with nitrogen bottles like in the old days in the front and the back, so they can easily push them back and then pull them forward for both teams.
Keselowski started third in the All-Star race in 2010.
Really loose for Brad Keselowski.
Now,
3 and 4.
pit now, track bar adjustment, pit now, track bar.
Again, driver pretty busy. Track bar, got to get the balance of the brakes adjusted for pit road. Let's see what he can get on the road here at pit road at. Man, those skirts dragged around, and he is hot.
148, and like Harvick, he gassed it after the car settled. Hold on.
Wow,
Nice.
great job. Those rear tires were locked up. I didn't think he was going to make
A
it.
bunch of chatter, a bunch of wheel hop when he first hit pit road and got on the brakes real hard.
Now, in contrast to Harvick, not a lot of wheel spin for Keselowski.
He got out there pretty good. This was a car out that was really looked fast in practice getting on and off pit road.
Yeah, if he can start up front in this All-Star event, I think that he could be a real major threat for the $1 million.
I just think it's amazing how rough turn 3 and turn 3 is. Again, watch those drivers bounce around, watch their heads bob back and forth. A lot of bumps getting into turn 3 over there.
And you heard him give some input back to the team about the balance of the car the last time through there. They can adjust that on that next set of tires real quick before he gets to pit road.
1 minute 53.278, almost exactly 1 second slower than Kevin Harvick on the total.
Yeah, I didn't think Harvick's run was all that great, but you never know. I mean, you know, it could be the pole. It certainly is after 2 cars.
Harvick first, Keselowski second. Coming up, Casey Kane and Martin Truex. Third qualifier, Casey Kane in the Mountain Dew Chevrolet came onto pit road fast, overshot his pit by 2 feet and had to back up. That threw off both the position and the timing of his crew. Now he's going out to complete lap 3.
Yeah, a really slow stop. I think it was 17.8. So just pretty much a total disaster getting on the pit road and getting woed up and getting in his box. Didn't get on pit road all that great.
We analyzed Harvick and Keselowski's runs. Kevin Harvick had a quicker first lap. Brad Keselowski had a quicker third lap, but Keselowski's pit stop was 1 second slower, and that was the difference as Casey Kane finishes up 1 minute 56.924.
I can hear Harvick now down there now. Well, DW said that wasn't a very good stop.
Well, you know, but that's the thing in this particular type of qualifying. You're kind of looking at things that are spectacular because there's a lot of things going on, but sometimes smooth on the lap, on getting to pit road and on the pit stop is the best way to go.
Well, you heard what Walt said, the pit crew coach. He said, just don't do any uneventful. Just have a clean stop.
Casey Kane's first 2 laps were quicker than Kevin Harvick's, but overshooting the pit and what ensued.
Pushing back.
And even though these drivers, they practice getting onto pit road, it was under such different circumstances, and track temp was way off. I mean, there's adrenaline flowing, there's more grip now, and they're just more aggressive coming to pit road. So it's really hard to know where your braking point is at on pit road.
Yeah, Jeff, when you're practicing, all you got on your mind is getting on pit road. That's all you're practicing. You don't think about the lap you've got to run here, your qualifying lap that you got to run before you come to pit road. So you got a lot on your mind once you get out here for the real.
Martin Truex Jr. for Furniture Row Racing. And crew chief Cole Perrin, 5-hour Energy Extra Strength Toyota. Runner-up in 2010. This will be his 7th All-Star appearance.
I don't know how his pit stop will be, but I'll tell you, his lap times were pretty good in practice.
Oh, this car has looked really good. Not just a year ago, but last week in Kansas and today in practice.
16 drivers to qualify. 8 will move on to the final round.
All right, next stop by.
3 drivers have completed their runs so far.
So far, pretty solid. A good-looking qualifying, good-looking lap that he just put down. Let's see how he gets on pit road.
He hung it out there.
Yep. 146 miles an hour.
3,
nice and
2,
smooth, almost
1. Here we
a little
go.
conservative those last couple boxes.
Nice and tidy, no mistakes.
Hey, all the way. Straight on track, straight on track.
Nice exit, no wheel spin.
Well, I'd be curious to see if the lug nut was loose on that left front. Looked like it left a little bit early. That's a 5-second penalty if there's a loose lug nut.
I saw the guy on the left front hold his hand up. I'm not sure what he was signaling, but I'm not thinking it's very good.
Well, NASCAR's rule is that each wheel nut must be threaded onto the stud and must be in contact with the wheel. They don't check tightness, but it must be installed all the way to the wheel.
We'll find out if he was saying he had one loose or if he was celebrating. Maybe he thought he did a great job.
You know, guys, we talk about the differences for the driver being able to come on the pit road that hard and leave without pit road speed. But think about the pit crew. It's totally out of their normal environment because they can't go across the wall until the car stops. That's totally different from the race.
It looked like that 78 bunch, too. They waited a long time before they went over the wall, and I know it's a timing thing. So,
well, there's the difference. The second lap was slower. Lap 3 was considerably quicker than Harvick, and it leaves Truex in second place, 152.6.
I thought Martin got to pit road really nice, but I think he got on the brakes a little bit early. He looked like he lost a little bit of time from the time he got on the brakes or on pit road to his pit box. Nice and clean, though.
Why was Chase Elliott in street clothes? Because he's done for the day. He will have to run the Open tomorrow to try to make it into the All-Star race tomorrow night.
And Mike, we're not being critical any of these stops or any of the laps. It's just we're just trying to help the folks at home see why he gained or why he lost or why we think that was good or whatever. So we're just breaking it down just like you would if you're watching from home.
Jimmie Johnson in the Lowe's Chevrolet for Hendrick Motorsports. Crew Chief Chad Knaus on the right. 4-time winner of the All-Star race with one pole here, 2009.
Really anxious to watch Jimmie Johnson come to pit road. He had a huge moment in practice, almost brought the back end around and put it in the outside fence. But will that slow Jimmie down, or will he say, no way, I'm still going to go for it. I want this pole.
But I like what the crew chiefs are doing. And Larry, you talk about a track bar and your brake bias and all those things the driver has to do before he comes to pit road.
I think that was quite a bit higher line through 3 and 4 than I believe Jimmie was wanting to run.
You were right. One loose lug nut on Martin Truex, and that will drop him to 4th.
Yeah, I thought that left front guy looked at me like he was saying, I left one loose.
Here comes Jimmie. Pit road this time.
Coming in low, really nice and low.
Wow, he's
really fast.
Really quick.
150.
Nice and smooth, nice and smooth. You got it. Nice and smooth. You got it. Wheels to the right.
Nice.
Wheels to the right.
That was perfect.
Here's Matt.
Impressive entry by Jimmie Johnson. 3 coaches on this, Craig, Carbon, and Smith. Keep an eye on the gas man. They're not utilizing fuel, so they're utilizing that guy, Brandon Harder, in a different way. He pulls the right front and left rear.
So far, that looks like the best entrance, best stop. So far, just by watching.
He gave up a little bit on the racetrack through 3 and 4, but will that entry and pit stop make up the difference?
It sure looked fast.
Johnson's the only repeat winner in the last 18 All-Star races. He's won 4 of them. Second place.
Wow.
6/10 behind Harvick.
That's
second fastest. So we'll take a look at the breakdown. Certainly he had the fastest entry speed to pit road at 150 miles an hour. A little slower on lap 1, a little quicker on lap 2. The pit stop a little slower. There's all the difference there.
That's it.
Faster on the final lap. Nice run for Jimmie Johnson. Harvick first, Keselowski. Jamie McMurray in the McDonald Chevy for Chip Ganassi Racing, and crew chief Matt McCall came flying down pit road and was going to make it, and at the last instant all 4 wheels locked up and he slid through his box. We'll show it to you. McMurray 156.493 after having to back up twice.
Watch it. I mean, this is pit road entry is blazing, man. Watch him bring this thing down pit road.
See how he
161 miles an hour.
Everything's fine up to right about now.
Can't quite
he almost got the inside wall.
When backs up,
tire locked up.
Need to back up. He didn't back up enough. So just everything was going so well.
So McMurray stands 4th out of 6 so far at 156.49 if no penalties. Here's Jamie.
And I found Joey Logano up here on the 2nd-story roof right at pit in. This is a great place to watch. You see and hear everything. Are you learning much standing here watching the cars come in?
Yeah, I'm learning a lot. I'm learning that these cars don't stop so well. That's one of the biggest things. I think the fact that they got a little smaller spoiler on them since the last time we've done their qualifying here has made them back up their marks a little bit. I haven't seen one car not wheel hop yet while I'm standing up here, so it's entertaining from inside the car and outside the car.
Thanks, Joey. Good luck to you, guys.
Thanks, Jamie. Kyle Larson had a spin in practice. He's in the Target Chip Ganassi Chevrolet for Chad Johnston. Won the Open to make it into last year's All-Star race. This will be his 2nd appearance.
Larson spun out in practice.
Almost
he just
really about did it again. But Mike, I agree. I'm with Joey. I don't think I've ever seen so many cars or heard so many cars wheel hopping on the pit road the way they are. Almost everybody's done it.
It's almost as if they can't get enough front brake in these cars to keep the rears from locking up. Plus, pit road's not exactly smooth, so you start doing the downshifts.
Yeah, it just rattles the rear tires.
Here we go.
Well, loose race
Sparks
car didn't
fly.
slow down from getting to pit road.
152 at the entrance. Double downshift. He's there, Matt.
And Mike, between free agency and retooling, Coach Sean Peace done a nice job. Only 2 returning members from last year's squad, the front changer and front carrier, Stephen Price and Aaron Shields. Nice, solid stop so far. Luck's on. Pull a tape and he's away.
I like what I saw there out of Kyle Larson. He came onto the concrete much earlier than any other drivers and shot straight in. Maybe with a little more grip under braking on that concrete pad.
Yeah, I'd say he had the least amount of wheel hop. Maybe he didn't have any. I don't know. It didn't sound like it, but certainly was nice entry. But just like in practice, that car was really loose on that that first
Seemed
lap.
to affect him getting to pit road.
Third for Larson, 153.08. For our 24-year-old point leader. Now third. Let's see where time was gained or lost. A plus would be slower than Kevin Harvick. A minus would mean faster than the current pole sitter. With a lot of elements, it does take a little bit of time to manually build these. So he was very close to Harvick in every category. Larry Mack.
Yeah, Mike, Slugger Labby, crew chief for Austin Dillon, has been good enough to join me for a little bit during this qualifying session. And Slugger, thanks again for coming up here. Such a fine line for these pit crews, because if you're conservative with the pit stop, that's not going to do you any good, but all the lug nuts need to be at least in place. Plus, as I mentioned, out of their element, having to wait till that car stops.
Sure, it takes a lot of discipline, Larry. You know, if you go over the wall too early, it's a penalty, and if you have a penalty, your day's pretty much over. But to me, the hardest part, you know, getting to pit road is a challenge, but once you make pit road, there's a big bump around pit stop 43, and the cars will virtually come off the ground. And you guys talk about a lot about wheel hop going on. What you see in Larry is a lot of drivers will put a lot of rear brake in it with the valve simply to put more pressure on the rear brake, because if it's on the front brake too hard, it'll get on the splitter and the car won't stop. So you'll see drivers messing around with the brake valve inside the car, and that's why you see a lot of people with wheel hop.
And I've heard a lot of reminders about track bar, making sure you adjust that track bar as well.
Sure, they're just looking for grip exiting the box. Drivers will mess with the track bar height. The crew chiefs will drop their air pressure out of the rear tires, looking for that lunge off of pit road, and some drivers will stay on the concrete longer than most. So it's definitely an art to it.
All right, for a year and a half, I've been outnumbered 2-1. Will you stay up here with me for a little bit?
Most definitely. This is awesome up here. You guys got it made.
For Joe Gibbs Racing and crew chief Adam Stevens, this is Kyle Busch in the M&M's Caramel Toyota. 144 miles an hour coming in.
2, 1, right here. You're good.
That's close.
Really close. That's as close as it gets.
Wow.
Now, he chose a little bit lower line coming on the pit road. You heard Slugger talk about a big bump. Looks like he went under that bump.
Yeah, not as 144, not as fast as some of we've seen, but he came in with the car under control.
And the same with a stop, 14.6. Not one of the fastest ones, but if they made no mistakes, he should end up in pretty good shape here.
Yeah, and maybe he had a really fast lap on the track as well that can make up for some of that lost time on pit road. But even though he didn't get onto pit road very well, I thought he did a great job managing the braking speed from the time he got on the brakes all the way into that pit box.
He's a 3-time pole winner for the All-Star race. He's been the runner-up. He's led 227 total laps, but has not won it.
This is another one of those runs that you know, it's not outstanding, but it's probably pretty good.
Second for Kyle Busch, 152.8.
Not too bad.
Again, not spectacular, but they did everything well. Here he is coming in.
I mean, this is about as orderly, I think, as we've seen anybody come on pit road. That was so close to that line. Oh, my gosh.
Woo. All right, we'll wait for the breakdown compared to Kevin Harvick. And he was
nice
faster
lap.
on the track than
Wow.
Harvick, slower on pit road.
And a lot faster on lap 3.
So the pit crew has made the difference between the current front row sitters, Kevin Harvick and Kyle Busch. Remember, this, however, does not set the front row, because 8 drivers will advance to round 2. So it is, five drivers will advance to round 2 of knockout qualifying. 5 out of 16.
Denny Hamlin had a pretty big issue in practice. This is a backup car, as he talked about. Got loose getting into turn 3 as he was trying to practice getting onto pit road.
Something was loose. The car just would not rotate for him there. So instantly, Mike Wheeler and Joe Gibbs Racing went to a backup FedEx Ground Toyota.
Smoke with the tire rub.
See, this is the first lap that this first lap this car is seen today on the racetrack. So, you know, those are the kind of things you would normally work on in fix and practice. Don't have time to fix that right now.
And the track temperature has gone down, a lot more grip right now, so you're going to see a little more flex from those sidewalls of the tire.
3 and 4.
Yeah, I think it's rubbing a little bit more down here in 1 and 2.
Fortunate for him, he doesn't have to make but a lap.
Pit this time.
He won the pole here in 2015.
Tell you what, anything that they get out of this car and this pit stop, and it's amazing because they had 0 practice. He doesn't even know where the brake balance is.
Yeah, that's pretty
10,
conservative.
5,
it's a smart
4,
move.
3, 2.
Matt?
Mike, majority of this squad's been together for 9 years. Dustin the Case back on the fronts. Mike Hick, the rear changer. Nate Bowling, a rarity in the sport. He's a left-handed jackman. Caleb Hurd, the gasman, he's helping pull tires. And Ben Fishbeck, only the rear carrier, helping out there as well. Brandon Peeger, great squad.
In 2015, this team gave Joe Gibbs Racing and Toyota their only all-star win to date.
I think it just shows the maturity of a Denny Hamlin. This car's not been on the racetrack, and he's doing everything. He takes it to a comfortable limit without getting this car in danger. Because you heard him say, I don't know where our third car is. You don't want to bring another car over.
This kind of performance is what separates the elite level of drivers from us mere mortals. 6th for Hamlin with an untested car. I hope they'll be happy with that. 154.5.
I think that's a great effort, really, for the whole team, the car, the crew, getting the car out there. Denny doing a great job. Not too bad.
That's pretty significant tire rub.
Yeah, there's a lot of load down in 1 and 2. It's a little bit tighter radius corner, but you'll really load up and put lateral into that left rear and bring that left rear out into that fender well, or into the fender there. And that was a pretty heavy rub. I'm with you, DW. Luckily, he only had to make 1.5 laps on that. You can see the time he gave up on lap 1.
So nothing about Hamlin's run that was awful. Everything was just a bit off from the pole sitter, trying to make sure they got a good clean run in with a car they had not tested.
Just being cautious. Yeah. I think it was a very fast, cautious lap. Let's
go over to Larry Mack and our Richard Childress Racing crew chief.
Well, Slugger, since you have a teammate out there right now, Ryan Newman, Luke Lambert, this 31 crew, let's talk about what he's going to do here. 3 and 4 is definitely gaining some grip, which has to even help on the interest of pit road, I would think.
It does, but the cars are definitely loose too, for sure. But this is going to be an interesting stop. The 31 guys, they're going to keep business as normal, nothing tricked. They're just going to use the gas man to do something a little different than they normally do. But it's going to be pretty much a straight up stop for these 31 Caterpillar guys.
And Slugger, since it's an impound race, you're not going to qualify a setup like you would for the Coke 600, especially with the fuel load.
Absolutely. The changes that you're going to have here are very minimum. You got some wedge adjustments, air pressure adjustments, and some track bar adjustments. But the main thing to me is the brake rotors. You know, we would typically run a less brake rotor next week for the 600. But since you got to do all this pit road challenge here, you got bigger rotors on the front of these cars just so you can simply stop.
Well, we should see him come to pit road this time as he goes down the back straightaway off turn 2. You can see the crew ready to go for this 4-tire stop. Ryan looked like he was actually getting on pit road pretty good in practice today.
Well, he's been doing this for a while. He understands it. Oh, there he goes.
Coming around.
No, hang on to it, bro.
He's got it. He's got it.
Now come down pit road. Come on, bring it.
Come get some 4 tires.
He definitely needs these 4 tires now.
Like I said, he's good at what he does.
Come get some.
All right, so he's going to pull in. We're going to see the jackman for the 31 car, Adam Lewis, go across. Chase Masterson on the front, Jake Lynn on the rear. Pretty
sure.
good, solid on the right side.
Yeah, it looks good so far. Everything's normal. No issues so far. Good time stop, but I'm sure the driver's a little baffled right now.
All right, 13-3 on the stop. Tell me about what happened on the front end there. We saw him pull a piece of tape.
Yeah, basically, to go fast for one lap, you put tape solid on the grill. And since we got to run 3 laps here at Charlotte, the gas man will simply pull a piece of tape off, open up about 10 square inches of tape.
Slugger, I was impressed with 2 different uniforms on those pit crews taking care of both sponsors.
Yeah, they kind of do that every year. The All-Star race is a special race, and we have to protect our sponsors for sure. But, man, I'll tell you what, shout out to Ryan Newman. That was one heck of a job right there driving.
It really was. What a save. And I don't think the pit crew, I think they thought, well, he's not going to make it down here. And by golly, he made it.
Slugger, you know what happens when something like that happens? We show a lot of replays.
Yeah, it's going to be good.
158.6 for Newman.
Here we go. Seen this a lot today, right here in the middle of 3 and 4. And he's in the gas. I mean, he is hard in the gas. Got those rear tires spinning. Now he breaks her down.
Side force did a nice job straightening the car out.
She's headed for pit road, and here I come.
The orange cone was nervous and should have been.
This definitely may be a first for All-Star qualifying right here. Absolutely needed his 4 fresh tires.
I mean, that's Formula Drift right there.
Oh, man, that's amazing drifting.
Wow, this is crazy.
Safe to say pit road entry speed was really
where
low.
he's going. Look at all that
Ryan
smoke.
Newman just saved a race car.
Yep.
And that's what we were talking about right there. And that, he didn't get probably all he went after, did he?
No, the people at ECR are not happy right now.
10-4, nice day. Hell, it was all in slow motion. Sorry about that. It just jumped sideways. Hadn't done that all day.
Third lap, though, was faster than Kevin Harvick's, even though the second lap had that big slide for life there.
Well, and I think a lot of that is the exit off pit road. You mentioned, Mike, you saw a lot of wheel spin in Kevin Harvick as he left his pit stall. I think he gave up a little bit there, even though he's our pole sitter currently. But some of those others that are getting off pit road really good maybe make up a little bit of time on that third lap.
So here is Kurt Busch for Stewart-Haas Racing in the Monster Energy Ford. Tony Gibson, crew chief on the right. Started first in the All-Star race in 2010. Qualifying got rained out.
Pretty good looking lap he's got going here. Down on the bottom, car didn't move around much. Pretty nice, solid lap.
Nothing better than when you want to go make your lap, you're next, and somebody about spins out coming onto pit road.
This car looks solid, though. I mean, it's not bobbing and wobbling around. It looks pretty straight. Coming up off the corner, got good speed.
And Kurt, boy, he loves to be aggressive getting to pit road, so I expect quite a bit here.
Right on the bottom of the racetrack, didn't arc it up. Here he comes.
Ready, now.
Top speed 149.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Mike, we highlight those athletes over the wall, but also an important element is the hose puller. He's like a pulling guard. He has to help direct that hose depending on the slack of where the car is in the box. It's Ryan Painter here on the 41.
Nice stop, 12-8.
Good job all the way around. I think this is a pretty good run, guys.
Yep. Kurt's the 7th driver to sweep the All-Star race and the Coca-Cola 600 the following weekend here at Charlotte.
Now, you heard somebody say now. What that is, there's no real reference points when you get on pit road, so you actually either have a spotter, I think that may have been Tony Gibson, telling him, giving him his reference when you're at a particular place on pit road when to start braking.
What's odd to me is watching how long the crews are on the wall before the car has to be completely stopped. Then they come over the wall.
Seems like it takes forever.
Second by 0.2 of a second.
Wow, that was a good run.
Stewart-Haas looking really good so far.
That will knock Kyle Larson out of the Fast Five that will advance. I was a little nervous when I saw this rear lockup here, but he had it all under control.
It is unreal how much rear lockup we are getting today. That's more than I've ever seen.
Well, I think Slugger, you made a great point. I hadn't thought about it. If you put too much front brake in it, you get the thing on the splitter, and it won't stop. So I guess it's a trade-off.
The final lap is all that kept Kurt Busch from the top spot held by his teammate, Kevin Harvick. Chris Buescher in the Bush's Beans Chevrolet for Trent Owens and JTG Racing. in and out of the box. This will be his first All-Star appearance. He finished 19th in the Open last year. Right now, the Fast Five down to Kyle Larson are the drivers who would advance to round 2. Harvick, the Busch brothers, Jimmy Johnson, Kyle Larson.
Well, there's just nothing more nerve-wracking than that first time you've been in this race and you've got to come down pit road for the first time with no pit road speed. But he did a nice job.
You know what I love about this? It just lets these guys know what it used to be like. Used to do this every pit stop.
I can't imagine.
9th, very workmanlike run for Chris Buescher. 9th, 156.6.
You know what blows me away on that, DW, is you were doing that on old tires under green flag stops. I cannot imagine. And it was a points race.
Every stop all day long. Jamie.
To say Ryan Newman had the save of the day, it would be an understatement. Has your blood pressure come back to normal yet?
I'm still not really sure what happened. I guess I went from going too fast to way too slow. Hoping maybe next year they'll award style points. But just really disappointed, obviously. Wanted to qualify better than that. It came out of nowhere. It just jumped sideways on me. And once I got her loaded up, I realized I was going way too slow and wanted to give the guys a chance to do their thing. But that was it for us. The Cat Granger Chevrolet will start from the back and hopefully drive to the front.
Good news is she's in one piece, and we'll see him tomorrow night.
That's right. If we gave style points, he'd start from the pole. Here's the breakdown on Chris Buescher.
A little off on that first lap. 29.0. Most of the guys were low 28s.
But workmanlike and actually quicker than Harvick on the final lap. Matt Kenseth for Joe Gibbs Racing and Jason Ratcliffe in the DeWalt Benefiting Wounded Warriors Project Toyota. This will be Matt's 17th All-Star race. He's a 2-time pole winner.
So far, his teammate Kyle Busch was the fastest on his first lap out. So we'll see if Matt Kenseth can also match that kind of lap time.
Now let's show you the 5 fastest pit stops of the day. Busch, Harvick, Larson, Johnson.
We're going to pit this time.
All in position to advance, and Ryan Newman's crew, boy, they did their job too. So we're going to need the 13-second range out of Joe Gibbs Racing and Matt Kenseth's crew to have a good shot to advance.
You can see the back end step out a little bit as he loaded up into turn 1. Saw that going into turn 3 a lap before this.
We got a really lot of speed here coming on pit road hot. That's a good entry. Oh,
151 at the entrance. Top speed on pit road 154.
Oh, knock it out.
Oh, no.
Go, guys. Go. Right there.
Matt.
Losing a lot of time there was the 20, Houston Stamper and Steven Tauges, though, still going to work, changing those tires, and he's away.
That's such a shame because he had a great run going. But man, when he came on pit road, it was pretty obvious to me he wasn't going to get it wound up.
He was carrying so much speed, so much further down pit road than about anybody else. And by the time he went to the brakes, he just didn't think he was going to be able to make it.
No,
it's just a little short.
Just a little late.
Well, because of the transference of weight and energy, the fronts are doing most of the work. You can lock up the rears. The car can still stop, usually in the box. But when the front end slides, you're slip sliding away.
And you could tell just right at the end there, he realized he was carrying a little bit too much speed, and that's when those fronts started to lock up.
Look at that time where he is, seven quick. And you think about it, if he hadn't had that mistake in the pits, where he would have been.
Yeah, that's a really good lap after overshooting the pit stall.
I really believe Matt had this until here.
There's the rears.
Got here and
watch the fronts lock up. Yeah, I don't know if he was going to stop either way in time. But certainly those fronts locking up, and not as fast as Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch actually ran like a 28.10 on his fastest lap.
Boy, a really fast lap 2 for Matt Kenseth, but sliding through the box will keep him from advancing to the final round. 3 cars to go. Here's Dale Earnhardt Jr. for Rick Hendrick, crew chief Greg Ives, and the Mako Exalta Chevrolet.
I think Chad and Kyle, those guys were talking about, you mean we got to do this again? Whoa.
Big moment for Dale Earnhardt Jr. getting into 3.
Junior started 4th in the All-Star race twice.
They spent a lot of time trying to tune this car for the race, trying to get the balance and the setup. And he wasn't real happy with it, but they never also, they didn't get, almost got the wall there for 2. Never got a chance to make a qualifying run.
This car's just not, it's just not with, he's not in the car, not together. And you can see his hands in there.
Same thing, we're going to pit next lap,
You can just see how much the back of the car is unstable, forcing him to move that wheel back and forth, trying to catch it.
Down here. We'll break it 1.
He's having to back out of the gas way early.
All right. 3, 2, 1, now.
Boy, he had a nice angle coming in there, carried a lot of speed to pit road.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Matt?
Veteran Scott Brzezowski, Jeff, he actually changed tires for you back in the day. He's on the front. Devin Del Rico on the rear changing tires. And then 4 football players, Covey, Conley, Linebeck, and Harrell, all played football in college. A lot of athletes on this squad. What's the time, Mike?
13-1. That looked good.
Yeah, everything, once he got the car on pit road, everything looked great. I mean, his entrance was fast, his pit stop was good, his exit's pretty good.
And he drove straight down the concrete most of the length of pit road. There's no rule about how many or how few boxes you're allowed to drive through entering or leaving.
I just think if the car had been a little bit better for him on his qualifying laps or his run, he would have been in a pretty good shape.
I just liked his commitment to pit road, swinging out wide. Seemed like he was able to carry more speed before he turned off the racetrack and carried a lot of speed on pit road.
Well, the pit crews have made the difference tonight. 6th for Earnhardt. He just misses, advancing by 1/10 of a second.
A very good lap on the track. You guys did a good job on pit road, though.
That's a fact.
10-4. Nice job, guys.
So he's going to stay on the concrete longer than anybody that we've seen so far.
We've seen people try this, Jeff, year after year, that, you know, it's not really sure which is best, stand on the concrete, jump out on the asphalt. I like the concrete.
Well, I just like keeping the front wheels straight. You can see 28.61 on his first lap. Lap 2, you know, he knew the car was pretty loose, so he lost quite a bit of time on each of the laps on the track. Got off pit road good, though. You saw where he actually gained.
And his final lap was a lot quicker than Harvick's.
He did his job. He got it on pit road, he got it wound up, and he got it off pit road. He did his job.
Slugger, we got the opinion of the 2 drivers about this concrete and asphalt. What are your thoughts, especially as everything's starting to really cool down as the sun's going down?
Well, it's definitely a challenge because you really don't want to be half on the concrete and half on the asphalt. That's really hard on an axle. We've seen people break axles in the past. And it's an impound race. It is an impound race for sure. So either pick one or the other. But you see some people go straight down the concrete, but it is slippery. But I would prefer they get up on the asphalt.
Well, definitely Dale Earnhardt Jr. is the first one we saw stay on the concrete almost the entire exit.
Ricky Stenhouse in the Fastenal Ford for Roush Fenway Racing and crew chief Brian Patty. Finished 12th in the Open last year. This will be his 2nd All-Star appearance. A winner just a couple weeks ago at Talladega puts him.
Yeah, the first time he's earned his way in by winning one of the regular season points races.
That guy on the right of our screen right here, Brian Patty, is crew chief. Smart guy. Really smart
This time, track marker, if you need to fit this time.
Kyle Larson's the man on the bubble. The number 42 at 1:53.
Marking her up the hill.
In 3, 2, 1, now.
149.
15, 10, 5, 4, 3, 2.
So far, so good. I like that entry, and that's a good stop.
He makes it. Deep in the box, the crew taking a little extra second to get to him. See those tires already in place as the tire changer comes around.
Down right there.
14-7.
Yeah, that's too bad. I think everything was pretty good up to there.
Stenhouse goes straight out to the asphalt on pit road.
He had a nice launch out of the pit box.
That seems to be the preferred line, Mike. Just jump out there and get on that asphalt. And you heard Slugger say it's a little easier on the car, too.
Yeah, and maybe it's a little cleaner because that's the path that most cars have been taking.
I just like that straight shot. I just, like you said, I don't like turning away. I just want to get a straight run out of the pit.
So we know Harvick and the Busch brothers will be in the final. It's down to Johnson, Larson, Stenhouse, and Logano. 10th for Ricky Stenhouse, a minute 54.8. And that locks Jimmy Johnson into the final round with one driver to go. Here's the breakdown for Stenhouse. Slower on the stop, otherwise very competitive run. Jamie.
And that was the last time Dale Earnhardt Jr. gets to pit in a stock car without a speed limit there, Junior. Did you get everything you hoped for?
I don't know. We didn't practice it earlier today, so I don't know if I got on there good or not. I don't know how fast we were coming on the pit road. We just weren't that good handling-wise in practice, so we worked on the car trying to get it better. But I don't know. I gave up a little bit. The car was a little bit edgy in 3 and 4. I think everybody's having a little trouble with it. It's greasy down there. So I didn't feel like I got through there very good, and but I got into the box, and we'll see how it, that was coming to the green, a little bit loose. Car's been free in the center of the corner. Hopefully that pays off though in the race. That's usually where we fight the push. So we're ready to rack them and see how this ends up tomorrow night. That's a decent start spot.
Thanks, Junior.
Well, Jamie let him know he was 142 miles an hour onto pit road, and that was competitive. So either Kyle Larson or Joey Logano will move on to the next round. Here is the Shell Pennzoil Ford for Team Penske, crew chief Todd Gordon.
This is the green.
Last year's winner.
You can see how the cars come out of the shade into the sun. So turn 2, turn 3, especially because the angle that the sun hits this part of the racetrack right here, much less grip in that area.
Ricky Stenhouse had one loose lug nut. That's a 5-second penalty for him. And we'll drop him to 15th right now.
Yeah, Mike, just watch the driver, watch his head and how it vibrates around. I mean, there's just a lot of movement, particularly when we get down to turn 3 down here. You'll see a lot of bouncing.
Last year's winner of the All-Star race.
Right there. Wow.
Wow. Still a lot of gas in turn 4.
3, 2, 1, lift.
151.
Oh, you saw he hit that bump.
Yeah.
5, 4.
Started wheel hopping.
Back it up, back it up, back it up, back it up.
Oh boy.
Yeah, you could hear him wheel hopping real early as he hit that bump right around the place where he got on the brakes. It just never recovered.
Are you ready? Go, 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 go. Hold.
You know, Jeff, you think about the 22 car, brake trouble last week. Right away in practice today, we heard him complain about they need to work on the brakes. And what do you need probably the most tonight to make a really successful run? Good brakes.
Oh, yeah. I thought they did a nice job getting them back into the pit stall. So pretty good recovery for the issue that he had.
12th for Logano, a minute 56.89. And that will lock Kyle Larson into the final round. And we'll show you Kyle Larson's reaction as Joey slid through the box coming into pit road.
Yeah, Larson in that 5th position, wanting to transfer through to round 2.
Watching Fox Sports Go.
Boy, not only the rear wheel hop. We'll take that.
Yes. Sorry, Joey.
Yep.
That was great.
So 5 drivers will move on to the final round and run for the pole in Stock Car Racing's All-Star Night. Harvick, the Busch brothers, Johnson, and Larson will advance. We know who's moving on, including the Busch brothers, to the final round. Positions 6 through 16 are set. Dale Earnhardt Jr., the car a little nervous on lap 2, puts him 6th. Brad Keselowski, Matt Kenseth, Denny Hamlin, Jamie Mack. The top 10, then Buescher, Logano, Kane, Truex, Newman, and Stenhouse. Penalties toward the back there. And a big slide. 5 drivers will move on to the final round. Jamie Little's with one of them.
And Kurt Busch is second on the board, and you smiled and you said, this stuff's fun. After all these times, it's still a good time to come out here and show what you got.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, what other time do you get to go 155 coming on the pit road, and you have to execute as a team. I can't overslide through the box. The guy's got to wait on the car to stop. engineers have to dial it in for a lap time, and we did our job to advance to the next round, and now we just go for it a little bit more, but you don't want to end up being a 0. But the worst we could do now is start 5th with the Monster Energy Ford. So it feels good. I love the atmosphere for All-Star Weekend. It's a lot of fun having Monster take over.
Absolutely. We'll see Kurt go for the pole here in the next round. Matt?
And the guy that he's going to have to beat is his teammate, Kevin Harvick. He and his over-the-wall guys performed like $1 million. Do you wish it was the old format? This is the second round we're going to.
Yeah, I don't know whose idea it was for a second round, but it was a bad idea right now. So,
TV.
Just have to thank everybody on our bushbucks.com team. The whole promotion that we have going with Bush and the fan being able to, Steve Sinnen, having a chance to win $1 million along with us is started off well. So, to make the top 5 is a big deal starting up front, and especially with the average positions and everything that you have to make it to the final round. So see if we can do that again. I really don't know exactly what I did, so I'm just going to wing it.
All right, good luck on winging it, guys.
What was interesting is we had nothing to compare him to. We said, well, that's a good run.
Yeah.
No,
First
it was
out.
a great run.
He made it look too clean, that's why.
Kevin Harvick will lead them into the final round. Down the fast 5 in round 1. Kyle Busch had the fastest first lap. Kyle Larson had the fastest pit entry and entry speed. Kurt Busch had the fastest pit stop. Lap 2, Jimmy Johnson was quickest. Lap 3, Kyle Busch was fastest. So what do you make of this, Larry and Slugger?
Well, Slugger, I find it amazing. We're talking about a minute 52, minute 53, but as you see with our top 5, the exception being Kyle Busch, it came down to what happened at about 13 seconds on pit road.
Sure, and obviously the Stewart-Haas guys had really good stops, and you got to give those guys credit. This is their Pit Crew Championship of the year. We used to do this at Rockingham back in the day when you and I were involved going over the wall, Larry, but to see these guys excel, this is their bragging right. This is their moment right here, and Stewart-Haas definitely right now could say they had the best stop.
Slugger, today our producer Barry Landis and I were having a conversation. You talked about your involvement, my involvement. I was really involved. I went across the wall with a jack. I think you were a tire changer. How involved are you with your pit crew? We hear trainers, we hear pit crew coaches. How involved are you?
Well, we used to be more involved, Larry, but I'll tell you that technology has changed. The size of the nitrogen bottles, the size of the regulators, size of the hoses, the pit gun development is through the roof. The jacks are phenomenal. The amount of flow that goes through the gas can. I mean, right now it's hard to get the car full on a 4-tire stop under green. It's really tough to get the car full.
Now, is it safe to say that your guys that go across the wall for your 3 car, that they are athletes? So any of them even work on the race car in the shop?
Some of them do, but they spend so much time down at the pit department. Ray Wright does a great job with these guys, and you make tenths on the racetrack, seconds on pit road, and every second is very, very important. So these guys are athletes, and I used to do it a long time ago. Can't do it no more.
All right, we know you got 3 opportunities to get in this All-Star race. I'm not going to worry about the fan vote. Can that 3 car get in this All-Star race?
I think so, Larry. I think our fall-off speed was really tremendous, but we just got to work on getting into turn 3. That's been our issue all day long, and hopefully we get him tightened up enough so we can do that.
All right, well, good luck. He's going to leave me back now to the 2-1.
I have to go to work.
Well, to their point, there are 2 Stewart-Haas teams in the finals, and those 2 teams had the only stops under 13 seconds in round 1. Big excitement, big tempers, big money. It's the All-Star race. Jimmy Johnson has been in training. He's won this 4 times, but for the last month he's been in training for the 6-hour, 103-mile Spartanburg to Mount Mitchell assault. 6 hours, 11,000 feet up. Jimmy Johnson, Jamie McMurray, Josh Wise all finished in the top 30. Matt Kenseth rode. Wow, Jamie.
And I believe there were 750 participants, and all of our NASCAR driver athletes finished in the top 60, Jimmy. Incredible. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks. Just a little ride on a Monday, nothing big. It was fun, though.
It's great to see the cycling community grow in the garage area, and had a lot of fun riding. Painful day, and a day that I was able to eat a lot of food, so that was fun.
Well, let's talk about this, getting back in your car. It's the second time, or it's the first time we're going to have a second round. With only 5 cars, do you push it a little bit more, or do you go a little more conservative?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I got away with a lot on that first outing. I don't know if I'm really excited to go do it again. I hope to stay on the road and not have anything go on. But this is at the end of the day, it's a lot of fun, and you really get to push yourself in a way that you typically don't. So I'm excited about it, and we'll see what scuffs do in this scenario. We all formed an opinion on stickers. Scuffs could be a little less grip.
And on a little more of a somber note, Nicky Hayden, a fellow member of the motorsports community, 2006 MotoGP world champion. You're running a sticker for him. He was injured on his bicycle this week in Italy. He's in the hospital fighting for his life. Jimmy, what does it mean to you and the Hendrick Motorsports drivers to run this?
Just terribly saddened that he's in this situation. You know, it's just very, very sad, and such a great guy. His family, their contributions to racing worldwide, we're all thinking of him, and very happy that Dale Jr. had this idea and got it done and got approval, so we put it on our Hendrick cars here, and just praying the best for him.
Certainly prayers for the Hayden family. Matt?
Jamie Kyle Larson in the 42 is fifth fastest. Your pit crew, 4 of 6 new members, did a great job, 13.1. With the conditions starting to cool off, how will you change your entry into pit road and getting into your box?
Well, that was my first time doing it, so this is my my first qualifying attempt at this deal. So I underdrove my pit entry there by quite a bit, so I definitely think I can go out here and run a lot better this next time. I thought my lap was pretty good, especially through 1 and 2, and 3 and 4 I got really loose and gave up some time there. So there's areas, every area I can get a little bit better, and I think maybe we could put it on the pole.
Mike?
Thanks, Matt. Now, in the background of the Jimmy Johnson interview was this. You might be wondering, that is Alexander Hamilton, one of the fathers of our country. If you have a $10 bill in your pocket, you'll see his face. I never expect to see a perfect work from an imperfect man. Hamilton said that? Well, we're all imperfect men, so.
No kidding.
You know, drivers get their inspiration from a wide variety of sources. Alexander Hamilton riding with Jimmy Johnson. Tomorrow on FS1, qualifying 4:30 p.m. for the All-Star Open at 6, and the All-Star Race 8 p.m. Somebody's going to leave Charlotte Motor Speedway with $1 million. Now tonight, the North Carolina Education Lottery 200. The trucks are on track, 8 p.m. on FS1. Christopher Bell, what a great job he did in practice and backed it up in qualifying. His 3rd career pole, and Chase Briscoe gets his best career start in the trucks.
A couple young stars, they're going to be going at it in the truck race.
Christopher Bell is impressive. I just want to tell you that.
One of just a wide number of young drivers coming up in the trucks and in the Xfinity Series.
By the way, Mike, my wife is named after Alexander Hamilton. Her name is Stephanie Hamilton. There's some relation down through the generations.
Got a stack of 10s in your pocket?
She does.
Well, there you go. All right.
I'm really curious to watch Kyle Larson on this next outing, because what I heard out of him was I can get a little bit more here, a little bit more here, a little bit more there. And that's what this round 2 is going to encourage, for you to step it up a little bit more. But boy, it doesn't take much to step over the edge.
Someone needs to remind him he's not on stickers this time.
No. So here are the top 5 pit stops in round 1. I believe 4 of the 5 advanced into the 5. Well, actually, these are the pit stops of the 5 drivers who advance. Right there.
And remember, at the opening of the show, we talked to Walt Smith, the pit crew coach over there at Stewart-Haas. And so he's got his pit crews tuned up pretty good tonight.
Now, in the first round, the drivers or the teams drew for the qualifying order. In the final round, we'll go from 5th place first, and first place in round 1, Kevin Harvick, last.
What do you think?
I liked what we heard out of Slugger Labby highlighting these pit crews. This is like their pit crew championship and highlighting them. But what I'm amazed at and why I love this qualifying session so much is the total team effort. you've got the engineers and crew chiefs are involved tuning the car, the guys back at the shop building the race car, the engine builders. Then the driver's got to go out there and get it done on the racetrack, get it down pit road in his pit box. Then that pit crew goes to work. I love the display on hand of the entire team here.
Yeah, I think Junior's 6, and it did miss the cut by 1, but I thought his entry to pit road, his crew did an incredible pit stop, and his exit off of pit road, and he almost made the top 5.
Now, the pit crews are in competition here. The fastest stop of the night, as measured by NASCAR from line to line. Not the amount of time the car is stopped, but they have a way to measure it, and there are awards to the fastest stops of the evening. If we get that information, we'll be glad to pass it on. Kyle Larson, round 1, a total of 153.08.
Mike, I think the track temps have obviously dropped way down. That'll make up for a little lack of not, being on scuffs, and maybe we'll see some pretty fast times here.
Wow, that was really good. All right, going to be pitting this time. Pit this time.
That's what I want to hear. That was really good. 199 miles an hour into turn 1.
He did make a nice late arc into the corner to 3 and was able to put it right down the white line. That's what you look for
really good lap,
when you're looking at a car getting to the
3 and 4, he was spot on. He comes to the line the whole to the corner.
This is the first of
Pretty loose on the
2 Chevrolets, along with 2 Fords and 1 Toyota.
Wow, that was a beautiful entry. I'll say that. If he can get it
sideways
rolled
at
up.
150 miles per hour.
Will it stop?
Oh, he's going to get into the box.
That's going to be good.
That's going to be real good.
Use a lot of concrete getting to that box. Stephen Price and Mike Roberts, the changers, coming around to the left side. Oh! The rear changer, Mike Roberts, slipped over the hose and fell. Good execution, though, to get up and not lose as much time as possibly could have.
If it cost them a couple of tenths, that was all. But this is a game where hundredths and tenths count a lot.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not going to call him out, but I'm not sure that left rear got all the nuts back on the lug side.
He really got back to it and really got caught up. But yeah, you're right, DW. We'll have to see if he got them all tight.
Yeah.
Now these 5 drivers can start no worse than 5th by making it into the final round,
which was on display by Kyle Larson.
Oh, yeah,
hanging the back end out, coming to pit road.
Boy, did he slide it in. 152.626. That is 4 tenths better than round 1.
Yeah, that's a nice run.
Nice pickup.
Now we're just keep our fingers crossed that all those lug nuts are on there snug enough. Yeah, 28.149 on the first lap.
That's right in there with Kyle Busch.
12.9 on that pit stop.
Everything was beautiful. Guys, this right here, a little bit of a problem.
Watch him step on
that hose right there. Down he goes. But I love the way these guys recover.
Oh,
he just jumps back up. But let's kind of watch and see if we can.
Lost about two steps there.
1, 2, 3, 4.
No,
I think he got him. I think he got him.
Hope so. Yeah, it wasn't the end of the hose he was carrying. It was the way that hose played out from the pit wall was what he ran over and lost his footing.
Pretty nice run right there. Of course, we don't know how much faster everything's going to be with the track temp going down. The sun's gone down now.
Well, and the drivers have a test run. They know where they can gain time, just like we heard Kyle Larson say in his interview.
I don't think you could get on pit road any better than he did, though, with that back end hung out like it looked like it was on a dirt track.
He got all of it.
That was perfect. Jimmy Johnson was 152.85 on round 1.
Guys, what most of these teams were allowed to do, and they're doing, is they started that first round on stickers. Then when they made the stop in the first round, they put on stickers. That's the set of tires they had to start this round on, and they're putting stickers on this pit stop.
Well, they only have 1 lap of them coming into this round, that final lap. So they're almost brand new. And it's the same for everybody.
But the problem is that's when they're their best, when they're almost brand new.
But it's the same for everybody.
No, it is. Yeah. It just doesn't make any difference whatsoever.
So the fact that Kyle Larson was almost 4 tenths quicker on tires that were not brand new, that's pretty good.
But I think that's the weather. I think the track's cooled down that much, picked up that much speed. Yeah, we'll see here.
And remember, Jimmy Johnson was quite a bit slower on the racetrack.
Wow. Oh, not this time.
Smooth and fast in.
No way. No way.
Back her up. Back it up. Don't jump, guys. What the?
Now, I don't know if that counts. You heard checking out saying don't jump over the wall yet. I don't know if it counts because he did stop. He just didn't stop in the pit stall.
I don't know, Larry, quick look at the rules. I think that's going to be trouble.
Well, I don't know. We had that happen in the first round. Matt, what do you think?
Larry, Matt, 3 years ago with Kevin Harvick, the same thing happened. He slid through the box while he was backing up. Mike Casto, the jack man, was already over the wall. They got a penalty for it.
Yeah. She just won.
Well, you could just see those rear tires locking up.
Well, they didn't come over the wall until the car stopped.
Yeah,
it just didn't stop in the box.
Right.
So we'll have to wait for word from NASCAR. Johnson second, 156.692, and he picks up a 1/10 and a half.
Yeah.
The ruling is over the wall too soon, 5-second penalty.
The lap on the track looked pretty good. Certainly really good getting to pit road.
Yeah.
Now, something interesting that I'm seeing, he's actually in an earlier pit stall than he was in round one. And I just wonder if he used these same braking points for this pit stall.
You're probably right on,
He
Jeff.
would have made it into the next pit stall.
And for ease of putting things together and getting them out, there is an empty pit stall between the two stalls in use.
Yeah,
so he's really
alternate.
2 stalls back of where he was in round one.
That's huge.
Faster on lap 2 than Kyle Larson. Would have been a heck of a run had he not slid through the box.
Yep. We can almost tell, though, Jeff, I mean, when they come off a track down there and they're at 150 plus miles an hour, it's just almost impossible to get that thing wound up.
But that's what I love about having a round two. It just encourages you to really just get after it, go for it. The worst thing you're going to be is 5th. So, you know, why not go for it? But when you go for it and you step over the edge,
it's risk reward. You take the chance, you might get a reward. But the worst you're going to start is 5th.
All right, we've seen the 2 Chevrolets. Here is the 1 Toyota in the Fast 5. That's Adam Stevens on the right for Kyle Busch and Joe Gibbs Racing.
This was he ran the fastest lap, one lap earlier.
Yeah, he was a 28.08 round one on that first lap.
He had the fastest first lap, and he had the fastest third lap.
And that third lap has a lot to do with leaving pit road, how you spin the tires, how you get up to speed.
Middle lane.
So far, so good. I mean, the car looks awesome around the racetrack. Now the test.
3, 2, 1.
Again, he was a little conservative, but he ran a lower line.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, right here.
Real conservative, all the way to the box.
But he avoided that bump on pit road by running a lower line. I do think he gave up some time on pit road.
Yeah, it looked like it.
Oh, a little bit of a delay on that left rear.
13.7. 27.90 was his first lap, which is the fastest of the day.
That's cooking, baby. Wow, he stayed on he didn't get up on the racetrack. He got all the way down to turn 1.
Car's handling good.
But that stop of 13.7, we've seen 13 seconds is the bogey. That's a competitive time right at 13 flat.
Yeah, and he's got a little steam coming out, so they didn't even pull tape.
No, they didn't do that in round one either.
Is that coming from the car?
Good question.
Nice run for Kyle Busch. He is second to Kyle Larson by 1/100th of a second.
That is amazing. 6.26 to 6.36.
I mean,
it's a game of hundreds.
3 laps on the track, on pit road, off pit road, a pit stop, and it comes down to hundreds.
And it was the pit stop, 0.8 of a second slower, or Kyle Busch could have been well ahead of Kyle Larson, but it's a team effort. We talked about 13 seconds being the bogey time. Boy, that would have done it. That was the difference right there.
He just swatted at it.
Yeah.
He didn't get it.
There are the pit stops in the final round so far. Kyle Larson within that 13-second mark.
Now that, of course, we know what happened to Johnson.
That was a nice pickup by Chip Ganassi Racing and Kyle Larson's team pit crew, getting down to the 12.9.
Excuse me. So 2 Fords to go. This will be Kurt Busch for the old man, Tony Gibson, and Stewart Haas Racing.
This was the pit crew to beat in round 1.
They were 12.8 seconds in the first round.
Look at those guys. They are so. They can't wait for that car to get down.
You could see Kurt really going for it into turn 3. Drove in there pretty deep. Had a big wiggle. I don't think it cost him too much time.
At this time.
Car does seem to be a little free. I can see the back step out just a teeny bit.
Hold your breath. Find your marks.
Get ready.
Turn left.
Here I come.
Ready, now.
Big wide arc.
10, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, good.
Matt?
Much like their leader, Tony Gibson, more racers and athletes on this team. 3 fabricators, 2 mechanics. Shane Papala and Coleman Dollarhide, the changers. Solid efforts there, getting those wheels on, indexing the tires, and he's away.
A little bit of a bobble.
Yeah,
left
front could get that tire off.
A little bit conservative those last 100 feet, or that last 100 feet getting into the pit box as well.
13.2. That's within a couple
solid.
of tenths
Yeah, that's
right
solid.
there.
I think what I saw there was just trying not to make any mistakes. Driver and crew, just solid.
And that's the advantage of being good in round 1 and going round 2. You see some other teams make mistakes. You know you have an advantage on them already.
Yep.
Here comes the 2010 All-Star Race winner.
I think this is going to be right in there.
Top of the chart, 152.07.
Oh, yeah.
They pick up 0.4 of a second from round 1 and
Cycle
go to
your
the
engine real good there. Cycle your engine.
and go to the top of the board.
That's pretty impressive right there, guys. 52.0. Beat everybody else by 0.6.
He's definitely given something for Kevin Harvick to go shoot at. Kevin now knows what he just ran. He's going to have to be aggressive.
Look at that final lap, 1 second faster.
1 second?
Yeah, a full second faster than Kyle Larson.
Well, where you make up a second, leaving pit road, coming back to the finish
line. Yeah, just getting out of the box.
Great exit getting out.
Yeah, getting out of the box.
Wow. Well, they're going to be proud of this no matter how it all turns out. They're on the front row.
Rodney Childers standing up there. He's ready to go. Kevin in the car, winding that baby up.
You see any Hamiltons? I see a Franklin down there, right down at the bottom of it. There's a bunch of Franklins.
He's covered in Franklins.
All right. Kevin Harvick fastest in round 1. He was not the fastest of these 5 in any single category, but put it all together.
Look at it, but look how hard that's hard work. I mean, just think, this is just 1 lap. We're looking at qualifying. You're going to do that for 400 laps next Sunday night. You're going to do it for 70 laps tomorrow night.
And every lap's going to be like a qualifying run, too.
Oh, yeah, tomorrow night's qualifying. You can hear those skirts clicking.
Hear the skirts, a lot of hand movement.
And look at all the bites he has to take out of that wheel to get through that corner just once. Oh, no. 2 loose lug nuts on Kurt Busch knocks him off the front row. 10 seconds in penalties. So now it's Kyle Larson on pole and Kyle Busch on the outside.
Oh, that was huge right there getting into 3. That thing jumped sideways.
All right, 10, 5, 4,
rear tires are locked up the whole way.
2, 1.
I think he's still going to be okay.
He got it.
A lot of experience on this 4. They've only been together the last 14 weeks of 2016. Eric Maycroft, the former pitcher at Wake Forest, front changer. Daniel Smith, he's been at Haas since 2004, graduate of the 5-off, 5-on. A little bit of extra time, though, on that left front.
Yeah, 13.7. That's going to be hard to get to the front row, although Kyle Larson, what's he, 4/10 slower than Larson that time.
Well, when you take the 52.0 out of the equation, it does put it back in the hands of, it's going to be pretty darn close. You got a 6.26 and a 6.36, the first two cars, and a 6.92, the third car.
I'm looking at Harvick for right in the middle at about a 153. There it is, 152.889.
Yep.
Third for Harvick.
Well, Larson said what he was going to do, and he went out and did it. Picked up a little bit everywhere.
First All-Star pole in his second start for Kyle Larson. And for Chip Ganassi Racing, they win their first pole position for the All-Star race. And the 4 crew from the first round are the pit crew champions. And there's Kyle Larson and team. Congratulations all around. Jamie.
And Kyle Larson was inside his hauler watching. What was it like in those moments watching? You guys were there, then you weren't, and then suddenly you were back on pole.
I was getting ready to change after Kurt beat me there, and then decided I might not, change, because if I end up second, you'll probably want to interview. So stayed in the suit, and yeah, that's pretty cool. It's my first time doing this. Nice that we got a second round there to get a second attempt at it. I picked up some time there. Still could have went a little bit better, but this deal is kind of all about not making mistakes, and everybody but us made mistakes that last round. So proud of everybody on this Target team, our Target Chevy, especially our pit crew. Our pit crew saved us that first round, or saved me the first round to get us into this round, and so getting the pole is pretty sweet. So excited about that. That stuff's so much fun. I've been wanting to do that. This is my 4th season in Cup now, and I've been wanting to do it every year, just haven't had the opportunity. So had a good time out there.
What's it like, the camaraderie, the energy? It's just something different. And your boss man, Chip Ganassi, he wants to win everything in the month of May. And for you guys to get the pole here for All-Star, what does it mean to you and the team?
Yeah, no doubt. May is a huge month for Chip Ganassi Racing, and what goes on here and at the Speedway and with their sports cars. So for us to start it off here with a good starting spot for tomorrow is going to be pretty good. And hopefully we can win the All-Star race tomorrow. We were close last year. And like you said, the atmosphere for the All-Star race, just something about it, just a lot of fun. There's not a whole lot on the line, so other than a lot of money. So excited about for tomorrow's events.
Let's talk about the race real quick. It's 4 stages this year, so the importance of starting up front when the stages are so close.
Yeah. Starting up front is a big deal. If we could go out there and win that first stage and know we're going to be in the top 10, and then build on our average finish to come down pit road first for that final segment. I thought the option tire had a lot more grip today. I think it'll even be better at nighttime. So I think that's going to be a big key for that final stage. So yeah, I'm very excited about tomorrow, and definitely excited about starting from the pole, because I wasn't expecting to qualify this good. I was just more so hoping to make the final round there, and to get the pole is pretty neat.
Certainly a team effort. Congratulations. Kyle Larson will start from the pole in the All-Star.
What I loved was his pit crew running all around him in great celebration after all of them did a terrific job to get Kyle Larson the pole. So the field is almost set for tomorrow night's All-Star race here in Charlotte, except for the drivers who will transfer from the Monster Energy Open and the fan vote. Here's your front row. Kyle Larson, first time in his career. He's been on the pole for the All-Star race, and Kyle Busch. It's his 8th top 5 start tomorrow night. Jamie.
And it was a great effort for Kevin Harvick and his number 4 team. If we just stopped after round 1, he would have been on the pole. Where'd you miss it there in the second round?
Well, I felt like the car was a little bit loose, and we didn't quite get as much out of the lap as I would have liked to. Still a decent lap. I got onto pit road a little bit too slow, and for whatever reason slowed down a lot better than I did the first time, and wound up getting in the pit box a little slow. And I don't even know how I got off of pit road, so I'm spinning the tires. I don't know if that's good or bad, because it's hard to tell from your TV. You got 2 different pit boxes, so it's hard to tell what time is from what box. So just really proud of everybody on our Busch Bucks Ford. We made it 2 rounds without any huge mistakes, and that was our goal.
So let's talk about the race tomorrow night. You've won it one time back in 2007. What are you looking forward to most? It's a little bit different this year with 4 stages.
Well, and I think as you look at that, I think starting up front is important because you want to keep those option tires until the end of the race if you can, because they do have so much more grip and more speed in them. So you have to also keep your average position. So starting in the back, you don't want to start behind. And for us, we wanted to have 2 solid runs because of the fact that we drew pit stall 1. So you have what I feel is a little bit of an advantage there. So all the cards are falling right. We qualified 3rd. Obviously, we'd have loved the pole, but we've already got the reward of the pole with the first pit box, so we just didn't want to screw it up and start in the back.
Well, we just got word your pit crew won the Pit Crew Award. What does that mean to these guys? This is where they get to showcase their abilities.
Well, those guys have been spot on all year, and for us, as a team, we've definitely been getting better every week. We've run well every week except for Martinsville, but switching over to Ford, the guys have been through so much work, and I feel like the opportunity window that we have to gain on things is very large just because we're learning so much so rapidly. So really proud of everybody. Got a Stewart-Haas chassis here this week, so proud of everybody in the chassis shop, and they gave us 004, so there's got to be something for the 4-car in chassis 004, right?
There you go, 004 in Oman, and of course it's family weekend. Keelan Harvick came up to give Dad a high five.
All right. Here's how they'll line up tomorrow night. Chevy, Toyota, Ford. One of each making the first 3 spots.
Nice run by Jimmy Johnson. Did a good job there. I tell you, I was really impressed with Junior's run, too.
And Kurt Busch on track. Man, he was going places.
Pretty impressed with Hamlin. I mean, you think about that car, hadn't even seen the track.
I think where Ryan Newman would have been, but for that slide for life getting down to pit road. Pit crew was great. The rest of his run was terrific, but
what a save.
It's an all-star lineup. Man, I cannot wait to get the green flag for this race. 4 open spots here. Going to come from tomorrow's Open.
4 open spots in the all-star tilt. $1 million to win. The top 5 get $100 grand or more. And you'll see it all tomorrow afternoon and evening right here on FS1. There is the Toyota truck of Christopher Bell that will start from the pole. And there are the trucks that will chase him in the North Carolina Education Lottery 200. That is coming up next right here on FS1. Boy, the sparks are going to fly in Charlotte tonight. And tomorrow night, here's the all-star race format. The first 3 stages. We used to call them segments. Now they're stages, 20 laps each. And the winner is guaranteed to be in the final 10 green flag lap stage, along with the drivers down through 10th based on their total finishes, their average finish in the 3 segments. Somebody's going to win $1 million, and only green flag laps going to count up to 3 shots at a green-white checker finish. It's going to be unpredictable. It's going to be wild.
I think green is a word for the evening, though, because a lot of green to be won. And then when am I going to use my green tires? There they are right there. The softer tires of the 2. They're your primary tire and your option tire. And when am I going to put these green tires on? Am I going to try to put them on in that last 10 laps? That's when it would be my choice if I had a choice.
Yeah, I really like this format this year because not only do you get to the final round by winning one of those stages, but you also have to continue to push hard in every stage after that to get that average finish up to make sure that when you come down pit road, when they line you up to come down pit road for that final pit stop for the final stage and maybe put those green sidewall tires on, you have earned your right to come down there first.
And only half the field is going to compete in that final round.
Yeah, and there's eliminations.
Right.
I like that too. That's fun. That's exciting.
But you know what? You would ideally, when the last 10 laps, when it's time to run the last 10 laps, everybody puts green tires on. And that way, you come out of the pits is the way you would restart.
But we know there's no way that's going to happen. There's going to be so much.
I just said ideally in a perfect world.
If I haven't won stage 1 or stage 2 and I'm not starting up near the front in stage 3, I'm going to get some green tires. I don't have to go to the back. Only if I put the green tires on for the final 10 laps do you have to start in the back.
And one other thing, if you come from the open, maybe you use those in the first stage to try to get yourself to the front. Just saying. Maybe.
Just saying. Matt?
Mike, a lot of unique variations to All-Star Weekend, and one is also how you pick your pit stall. Now, NASCAR pulled a pill, #1 for you, the Ford team, so you rolled off first for qualifying, but that's also the order in which you get a chance to pick your pit?
Yeah, it is. You know, it's been a little bit different over the years with the All-Star race, but this year, you know, they draw the pill. That's where you go out, and then that's the order you get to pick in. So we got to pick the pit stall #2, which pit stall #1 wasn't open. So pit stall #2 still got a little advantage over the rest, and we look forward to tomorrow night.
Well, a great job by your pit crew. Good luck tomorrow night when you guys go for not only $1 but $2 million.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
There's your winning pit crew as determined by NASCAR from round 1. Pit stop times. Stewart-Haas Racing rang the bell. Kyle Larson and Chip Ganassi Racing slide onto pit road, and they've got lots to celebrate tonight. They have won the pole for tomorrow night's Monster Energy NASCAR All-Star Race. Big celebration that Jamie was trying to do an interview right in the middle of with the winning driver. Snacks for everybody. Plenty of racing yet to come. The setup is next, and then the North Carolina Education Lottery 200 Christopher Bell starts from the pole.
The way Larson brought that car on in the pit lane, I think that was the difference.
He is so excited to watch.
Can you believe that?
And that pit crew did their job.
Yep. Made
Total
no
team
mistakes.
effort.
Yep. An eventful qualifying for the All-Star race tomorrow night on FS1. Keep it right here. Trucks are next. Here's John Roberts.
Mike, thank you. The